Hello and welcome to episode 47 of Rival Banter. I'm one of your hosts, Luke Croft. Joining me, as always, my esteemed co host and Times Person of the Year 2026, ladies and gentlemen, Seth Martin.
That's me. That's who I am.
He's accomplished much in his life, including this amazing figurine shelf that he has behind him.
Yeah, just take a look at it. Right, we finally upped the game. I feel like it's like the one thing that just brought the basement together. The basement where I come to work and play with my toys.
And now you don't have to worry about cats jumping up and knocking stuff over off of it. I don't know if that was a problem
Right.
before.
Like a small problem. Yeah. It definitely did occur.
How's your week been, my friend?
That's been good. Just busy. Busy as hell. My school, like the whole county school division, lost internet today. So like after it was like we were like one block into the 4 block school day. So it's like, what do you do? And you just kind
Someone
of
just
have to
didn't
make it.
pay the bill. They were like, "Hold on, I gotta call Spectrum real quick."
They said a line got cut somewhere or something like that. Who
For the whole
knows?
district?
I guess
It's
or
single
whatever.
point failure, baby?
I had no idea, no
That's
idea. But
that's crazy.
they said to expect to be out of it for the week.
The whole week? Dude, they just letting you work from home? I'd just make it
I
remote
wish,
learning.
I wish that would
That's
be nice. I think
crazy.
we're out of those days, or else maybe they would. But
An entire week without internet.
maybe that's a maybe. That's a maybe. But who knows?
Either way, a whole day is crazy enough, you know?
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild times. A weird energy without the internet, like
Yeah.
primal nature.
Yeah. Were you, like, choosing what students you'd eat first?
You have to think about it sometimes that way. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta. It's
It
just
it's
eat
just
or
a
be
fact of
eaten.
life, yeah.
Hmm.
What'd you say?
Eat or be eaten.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. I thought you were asking me. I'm like,
Would you rather?
this is rival
You're a
banter.
pacifist. I don't know. Like
That's true.
maybe.
Maybe becoming a little less so the older I get, but you,
Hey,
you don't know. Anyway, this is rival banter. We get together every week over here and talk about all things Marvel Rivals, and then push it out to you guys on podcast services every single Wednesday. Just look up Rival Banter. We are also on YouTube where you can watch the full video episodes, and you can follow us on social media at Rival Banter on Instagram and TikTok. And shout out to you guys listening last week, most listened to week again, for first week downloads for the episode. So thank you guys for checking us out, and hopefully you're
hell
having a good
yes,
time and sticking around.
hell yes,
um
yes, hell.
Wherever you're listening to us, though, make sure you're following. Make sure you leave a 5-star review and a comment. That'd be greatly appreciated on our end. But we're just happy you're tuning in and you care enough about what we're saying about this silly game that we love so much. So, also join up on our Discord. Link is going to be in the bio. You can join up there. We've got some cool people that talk about you know, all things Marvel Rivals. They share their unhinged screen names in there, that sort of stuff. To come join the fun. Links in the description. All right, Seth, let's jump into some viewer comments. We have a little bit of a weird episode today because there wasn't a whole lot of news. I feel like Guang's keeping it close to the vest ahead of this LA event next week. So, but let's jump into some viewer comments. I'm going to let you read this first one here from Aiden Heat, Seth. Why don't you hit us with what good old Aiden has to say?
I'd love to. Good old Aiden says, I've been enjoying Elsa pre and post patch. She is extremely mobile, and I agree with what you guys said about her being more of a daredevil. Thank you. That was me adding thank you in. She can feel tanky simply because of her constant mobility if you know how to cycle her kit. Just today, I've started seeing her get banned in competitive play, Grandmaster 1 lobbies. Also, love how close you guys are getting to Grandmaster. Best of luck. Yeah, well, we'll talk. Best of luck to you both, and I hope y'all make it by season 7. I've been loving this podcast for some months now. Y'all have great humor. And thank you so much, Aiden. I loved this one. Luke sent this comment to me in a text message earlier in the week, I guess, when it was sent. And, it just makes you feel good to kind of hear that. Number one, like to see somebody acknowledge like just a strong bromance. And number two, Whatever number 2 was, I forgot. Talk to me, Luke.
Yeah, yeah, I'll start there. Aiden, thanks a lot. We appreciate the love. We've been podcasting for a long time. We had a video game podcast back in the day that we did for quite a while, but the internet wasn't quite as interconnected even then as it is today. And so, we had some listeners, but it didn't feel like we had this sort of like regular inflow of people saying that they enjoy the podcast. And you know, we really just started this so that we could find an excuse to hang out once a week and talk about the game that we like to play. So it's cool that others have come along for the ride. But to the Elsa stuff, I'll say, I mean, he's kind of reiterating what we were talking about last week. I still feel like she's a bit of a menace even after the patch, but not in not in a way where I feel like if she's in a lobby, she's just gonna like run the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, she's not a must ban for me. I think that balance, that the patch did help out with her manageability a little bit more. So, yeah, I mean, she's not somebody that I like hate to see, like maybe a DPS Deadpool sometimes, or a heal pool in some lobbies, stuff like that. I'm just kind of fine with Elsa overall at this point. Could take her, could leave her.
Yeah. Then the real Haley James over on Instagram responding to us talking about this weird uh how it's weird people ask to have somebody fired after a patch. And this person says, very well said, these people crying about the game genuinely need to stop playing it. The toxic community is killing this game. It's not as fun anymore because everyone is so vile. And Seth, I put this in here for a very specific reason, and that is that I think everyone needs a reminder that you can stop playing this game for a little bit. Nothing is beholding you to logging on every day and just ruining all of the people you're playing with nights, and I spend quite a bit of time on the subreddit and stuff like that, and it ebbs and flows in terms of what they're upset about. And I felt like over this last week or couple weeks there's just been this like, I hate everything about this game. I hate the balance. This game's going to die if it keeps going in this direction. And I just don't understand it, Seth. Like, have you ever found yourself like hate playing a game at any point in your life?
I mean, probably to some degree, but not as consistently as I play Marvel Rivals, and I'm playing Marvel Rivals, still enjoying like every minute of it, the wins, the losses, whatever. I don't know, like I just like the vitriol that we were talking about before, about kind of like in response to people and like calling for their jobs, calling for their heads essentially. Like, why do that? I think there was a comment on there as well, that you showed me at one point, that was like somebody saying it's not outrageous to call for somebody's job if they're doing a bad job. And I'm like, sure, but isn't that like the job of their boss and not millions of people in an online community saying like, just
Yeah.
to take away this person's livelihood, burn them at the stake or whatever. So, yeah, like, just if you don't enjoy the game, don't play it, take a break. And you'll probably find, because something keeps bringing you back, you'll probably find that you miss it and you want to come back and just enjoy the ride a little bit more. And if not, good riddance, like whatever, 6, 7.
And look, I mean, we're invested in this game in a very unique way. I mean, we love playing it, but we also have this show that we do, and we need to come and have things to talk about every single week. But even with that sort of intrinsic relationship that we have, that like interconnected relationship we have with this game now, we've still found ourselves at times going a couple days without playing, and playing something else. We've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders lately, and it's nice to have that break when the game isn't scratching that itch. And that's not to say it's not going to ever scratch that itch again, but it's nice to take a break. And I've been itching to get back to some Rivals here soon because of
Yeah,
it.
I didn't really want to take a break. I just don't have enough time in the day to play all the things that I want to play and do all the
Mhm.
things I want to do. So like,
That's a
me
good point.
taking this
Yeah.
break for a couple days, I played a little bit, at school and at practice and stuff like that yesterday. But yeah, like it just kind of absence made the heart grow fond, myself itching. Like, oh hell yeah, I had a rough day playing competitive last week on Friday.
Oh my
We
god.
started
Yeah.
playing. Yeah, yeah, we did. We started playing Arc Raiders this weekend, so it kind of took like a couple day break, and like when the time came around Monday where I was able to sit down with Rivals, I was like, why not? Let's just play some ranked. Let's get back in. And it was a much better experience. Things went a lot smoother for the most part at that time. So, I mean, just take a step back. If you find yourself hating it, don't just like force feed yourself the game. Just take a break and no great loss either way, right? If you never come back, that's fine. But I'm sure that lots and lots of people will.
Yeah. So Um, I'll just never understand the mindset, man. Like life is too short to invest your energy in something that isn't giving you back what you're putting into it. And I've worked in with gaming communities now for years, and I think I, you see this a lot in League too, where people have this really sort of like love hate relationship with the game, and they're like, "Oh, I haven't had fun playing this game in 3 years, but I play it for 8 hours every single night." I'm like, what are you doing? That's crazy to me."
Sounds like you're the problem in that case, right? And I
Yeah.
think a lot of the times, like a game, because League is, of course, like the other game that has like a hugely toxic community, and so I'm sure that that plays a big role in it too. Like just like the stuff that you hear, the stuff that you read when you're mid match or whatever, it kind of like wears and tears at you for a while. And of course, like if you disagree with somebody, then that's a whole thing too, and it just kind of wears at your energy, man. Like I just I don't know. That's why again, like turn the features off if you can. Like ignore the people out there if it helps, and just like you enjoy the game for what brings you to playing video games. It's not your job.
Mhm. Then recycled lube. That's disgusting.
Quite a name.
Over on YouTube, responding to me playing Cloak and Dagger when I am partaking, said, "If I want to turn my brain off, I play Cloak and Dagger. If I want to sweat my balls off as a support, I play Cloak and Dagger." And you know what? It's so true. Like you could just sit on Dagger the entire game and heal bot from the back and provide a, a reasonable amount of value to your team. But I do think the skill ceiling for Cloak and Dagger can be pretty high as far as managing your ult, being able to avoid the Magnetos and Iron Mans that are trying to, kill your ult. The, Cloak's what like fade ability, I don't know what it's actually called, but where you make people inside invisible and invincible for a second, like can be super valuable as well. So learning how to juggle those things, um yeah, there's definitely, I think, a high, maybe not skill ceiling as much as it is just like a lot of decisions that you can make with that character.
You have a lot to juggle, yeah. There are several buttons, two different loadouts that you can kind of use in tandem with each other. So you kind of do. I think we've talked before. It's been a while though. It's kind of like a flow state that you enter with her. I think more than almost any other character because you are swapping back and forth. You've got one set of cooldowns for dagger. You've got a separate set of cooldowns for cloak, and you can use them both. You just kind of have to keep that mental clock going in your head, ticking down the seconds. Even if you're not literally doing it, you kind of just feel it and go off of the vibes. And once you do it for a while, it just kind of clicks. And yeah, or you can just heal bot and be carry the team if you want to do it that way.
Who do you think is more upset in the Cloak and Dagger relationship in terms of the way that the community refers to him? Because everyone just calls that character Cloak, which is, you know, the male character, and then you have Tandy, who is Dagger. Is it that Cloak is so often associated with Dagger that would make you more upset, or would you be upset as Dagger that you've been totally cut out of the picture from a namesake
And I
perspective?
think it's not fair. It's kind of like how, like, sometimes companies, when you're like trying to pay, if you're like married or whatever, sometimes I feel like some couples, or maybe it depends on the place or whatever, but like you try to call and like get something done, make a change, and they're like, oh, we need to speak to your husband or whoever it is. I've heard of ladies complaining about that in, the past few years. And I'm like, what era is this in which we're living? Like, and so I feel like it's that we're just kind of an interpolated, what's the word? Like, we just kind of absorb this kind of like paternal male centric mindset, and we just kind of like automatically leap to him. But I don't know. I also kind of don't get that upset about it, but I'm also a male, so I understand that it can be upsetting for people that aren't.
Yeah, but I think when people think of that character, they think about Dagger. Like
They
if
do,
if,
they
if you just
do, but then
imagine, yeah.
Yeah, but then
So
like you just kind of go to cloak. Like it's just that's the one that sticks. I think it's also just easier to say, if nothing else. Like just
yeah, yeah,
instead of dagger, two syllables. Like people are lazy. Cloak.
yeah. And more important question about Cloak and Dagger that I've been meaning to ask you, Seth. At what frame in the transition animation do you think the penis goes away and the vagina appears for Cloak and Dagger?
Well, there is no penis, is there? It's like the whole bottom half's kind of just like this cosmic.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's only in game, right? Like the when it comes to the two like they're two individual people in like canon and have their own bodies.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. The cloak, whatever.
You thought Cloak was like some internal ghost that had been intermingled into, and maybe that is the
No,
way it is in the
I know
game.
they're two different people, but and they get like kind of fused together. But I don't know. I guess I haven't really read any Cloak and Dagger comics. Or I never watched this show with the brief show that was a thing a few years ago. But did he have like a separate body after they get
Oh
entangled, or is he kind of just like the half
no,
man?
I think he's like a whole person still in most of the other stuff, but I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe correct me on that. I'm
leave
not the
us
lore
leave us
guy.
yeah, leave us a comment. So do something to correct us here. None of us are experts in Cloak and Dagger except for the playing of Cloak and Dagger in this game, and even then, maybe amateur if not expert.
And I think it's the final frame of the animation. I think everything happens and then last frame penis, last frame
That's
vagina.
the last thing to kind of fall into place.
Yeah, yeah.
Just kind of twists into existence or out of
Or
existence, I guess. But
exactly. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's I don't know. Let us know what frame you think it happens on. I don't know how many frames are in the animation, but figure it out. All
it's
right.
got to be 6 or 7 at least.
Yeah, at least 6 or 7. All right. Next comment is from Cloudy the Goat talking about the Elsa Bloodstone Ultimate. Says, I'm going to be so for real. It's a shitty version of Jeffold. It's been destroyed 90% of the time, and most of the time, unless you're point blank, it doesn't even hit. Um, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I've been caught in a lot of Elsa ults. Maybe I just suck though.
Yeah, I
I
think
also
it just
tank.
depends. Like the point blank thing, yeah, that's true. I feel like it always hits me, but I'm also usually playing like Mag or somebody like that when it comes through. So um, yeah, I mean, like I do think you've got to be like have an escapable character, like an Invis or somebody like that that's able to leap away really quickly. Um, I think support kind of lends itself to that escapability, or DPS a little bit more for sure. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I do like the idea though. Like I understand what Cloudy's saying that it is kind of that Jeff old, like it can be escaped easily if you know it's coming. Um, I do think it's still Jeff still kind of takes the trophy for like readability and like how it gets announced so much farther
Yeah.
ahead of time. You have kind of some more control with the Jeff ult as to when you actually pop or release the ult itself. You get the call out, and then it's up to you when you actually trigger it.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, the release the Gluck Gluck is kind of right when the ult line comes out, right? So you don't have that time
Hmm.
to prepare. I think that's a really good point too. The other thing is just like the Jeff ult is always going to be somewhat shitty because it takes Jeff out of the fight. And I'll always say that. And I know they've kind of remedied some of the utility that you lose, but still you lose a person for that fight until they spit everybody out, you know. Um, but I do think that I do agree that like the Elsa one is a little easier to destroy now with the nerfs, and I've been seeing that a lot more. But you're just relying on your teammates to turn and see it and shoot it because, like I said, I'm a tank. I'm probably caught in the damn thing. So
Yeah, we did find out. Or I think I don't know if we ever talked about it, but I know that I have cleansed it, and it seems like it kind of like even though it doesn't remove the ult altogether, you kind of like push your friends, your teammates out of the ult, which is helpful.
oh, that's nice. So it cleanses like the stun, not necessarily getting rid of the glug glug.
Right, right. The Gluck's still running, but it kind of it gets you out of the situation.
Yeah. Then our final comment from Tugboat Tucker says, I think when the second guy, that's you, Seth, said
Mhm.
it seals a deal for me about Rogue grabbing Deadpool, um, he actually was implying that he actually learned how to play Rogue. You've played a little bit of Rogue, Seth.
I have. I like this read, but that's really not what I was going for. And I think that's kind of a joke on me. Like, that's kind of my incentive to play Rogue is to just see the cheeks.
Mhm.
I was not implying that, but now that you say it, yeah, that could be a fun way to kind of like look at playing Rogue or something to kind of look out for, like kind of a little carrot on the stick for me to play some more Rogue. I've talked about playing her before and kind of wanting to a little bit more. I just got so many others that I kind of enjoy playing ahead of Rogue, and so she's kind of deep down on the list for me right now.
Yeah. Her buffs feel really good though. The lower cooldowns and the increased damage. I think if you want to start learning to play Rogue, now is a good time. I think she's
Yeah, I've
in a
been
good
seeing her
spot.
in the matches I've played. She's been killing it. For the most part, as long as anybody kind of has a brain in their skull, they've been kicking ass with her here recently.
Yeah. All right, Seth, let's move on to everybody's favorite segment of the show. We're blind ranking unhinged in-game names. You know how it works. You're going to be shown 5 unhinged in-game names, and you will blindly place them 1 through 5, with 1 being the most unhinged, 5 being the least unhinged. Seth, we're going to go back to you reading the names because I think that made it funnier last time, or the first time
Okay,
we did it. So I'm going to
the
drop
first
this
time.
in. You
Yeah,
read the name and then rank it. Are you ready for your first name? Are you in the show notes?
I am in the show
All
notes.
right, here you go with the first name.
Loading. All right, this one is Love Tig Biddies. And of course, you can tell it's a play on words for they're kind of like just juggling the letters around. It's kind of like it should be I love big titties, which of course is a word for the breasts of a woman.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
large.
just to make sure, bit large ones. I
Well,
like
look,
this.
there's nothing on here that necessarily specifies on a woman.
That's true. That's true. I guess I'm assuming, and we don't want to do that. So I take it back. I retract it. They just love large breasts in general.
Hmm.
I'm gonna give this a 3. I'm
All
gonna give it
right.
a 3. I enjoy the wordplay. I like there's a number in there. You got like the 0 going on, and the O in love. It's solid. It's not like laugh out loud. I'm cracking up about it. Funny.
All right, here's your next one.
Scroll down. Poop shafter. Poop shafter. It implies I like to mansplain
I
the
love it. I love it.
I feel like it works. Poop shafter. It implies something to do with anal sex. The shaft of the male genital and the chasm of the anus.
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
sure. So poop shafter, I like this. I think it's a 4 for me. Again, like it's cool. It was unexpected. It's just not how I typically think of that in my mind when I do have to think about
All right. Your,
it.
here's your next one.
Okay. Yeah. I saw this one in the Discord the other day. This is, I guess I'm reading it right. Yeah, yeah, it's 9 inches. Like, yes, it is 9 inches.
What does it
Um,
refer to, Seth?
oh, you have to assume, and again, this might, they say about assuming. I'm assuming that they're referring to a penis,
Oh
but I
my
could be wrong.
God.
Did you read it a different
Oh
way,
God.
Captain?
Oh no. There's no way. They don't make them that big, right?
I think what did the comments say when it was something like
I said,
somebody
man, he's really short.
that's what it was. And then somebody else was like, some might say it's 8 inches too big or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I like this. I'm gonna go. I like the confidence that it has. This is gonna be. What have we done? I've done what,
You've done
3 and
3 and
4.
4. Yep.
I'm gonna give this my 2 spot.
All right. Here's your next one, Seth. I'm dropping it below the it's 9 inches.
Okay. Jorkin McGord. For those that don't know, a gourd, it's a euphemism for the male genitalia. Um, it is also literally, it's not spelled this way, but I think the play on words is that it's a gourd, like kind of like a pumpkin, or like, kind of a smaller, more slender, elongated pumpkinish
Mhm.
thing, like a squash or a zucchini. Maybe is
Yeah,
zucchini a gourd?
zucchini. I think zucchini's a gourd. Yeah.
Okay, so something like that. And then Jorkin is, of course, a reference to it's kind of a play on jerking. So the idea is that they're jerking this elongated phallus.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna give
Well,
this.
hold on. And means it's
Mm,
theirs. It's not talking
hmm
about really
Not
anyone
somebody
else's.
else's. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's a
That's
very
that's a good.
personal.
That's a clear distinction we should focus upon. Sure.
Right.
I I like this one. I've kind of dug myself into a spot where I've got to give it either a 1 or a 5. I'm gonna give this one my number 1 spot, and I feel
Mm.
like I might regret it. I feel like you saved the best for last the past couple of times. Um,
Yeah, I need to mix it
but
up. I need to mix up how I'm serving them. I think you might need to mix up your strategy for placing them as well, because I think you kind of sandwich yourself like this. But here's your final one.
oh god, this should have been my one. This I love this one. Should have been expecting this. This is I played against this person and lost. Their name is
That's how you know it's good. When Seth hesitates, he's like, "Do I need footage of me saying this?"
their name is Precum Joe. I think what gets me about it is, like, of course, like the pre-cum thing is funny. It's not like full on um ejaculate. It is it's the kind of like calm before the storm.
Hmm.
Um it not even that, but like you've got that next to something so, like, something kind of out there and unexpected, right next to something so plain Joe, just the name Joe. Um, so the juxtaposition to drop like the Englishy term in there, of the pre-cum and the Joseph, that gets me. I have to, I guess, put this into 5, but I really do. This would be my number 1 spot if I could turn back time.
Yeah. Do you think his friends call him this? Like, what do you think the origins of pre-cum Joe
PJ,
are?
PJ. I don't
Oh, it's like, look, it's old PJ. It's old pre-cum Joe coming.
I feel like this is like a high school nickname. Like there's a story behind there.
Oh, like
So like,
oh, dude. So my brother went to a Bible college,
oh god,
and
you're telling a real story. Oh my god.
they had this speaker who would come and talk about sexual ethics because my brother went to a Bible college, as did I. Um, but as he was speaking to the student body about the things that they shouldn't be doing to lead them into temptation, he starts he starts talking about how he was walking through the lobby of one of the dormitories and saw a young couple sitting on a couch, and the man was sitting there and the woman was laying her head in his lap to take a nap. And then he goes, "And I see those little cum stains on your pants when you got up." "I see the little stains on your pants."
I would love to know what he said after that. Like, what was the direction in
I
which
think
he
he
was
was
going?
I
Just
think he was
that
just
was the
saying,
path to temptation,
yeah, I
the
think he was
laying
just
of the
saying
head.
like, "Hey, first it's that, next it's just penetrative sex."
I don't know. I feel like this is like a like there's like a guy was like talking to his friends one day talking about an encounter he had, and like in high school, maybe like for the first couple years of college, and when you're still kind of young and innocent, but you're kind of growing and learning, and maybe this element was involved. This
Mm,
kind of like pre-substance,
yeah.
and that kind of became their nickname. Maybe there was a story about it, like the stains on the pants or something like that, and then everybody started calling him Pre-cum Joe. I don't know. I love it. I think it's like poetry. It just kind of roll. It's succinct. There's not a lot to it. You don't have to like tilt your head to read it. Kind of like the it's 9 inches thing. It's
Hmm.
there. It's plain Jane. It's elegant. I love
Yeah, I like it because Pre-Cum Joe is either a day trader or a meth dealer. Those are the two options.
it.
So
Okay, I can see it.
all right, Seth, great job on that this week. If you want to submit your unhinged in-game names, make sure to join our Discord server. We have a whole channel of them, and I love it because people in our community have been posting their own. In fact, a lot of these were from them. So, all right, Seth, let's move on. Let's talk about our weekend rivals, and let's talk about how much we wanted to throw ourselves off the edge of a cliff on Friday when we went on a 6-game losing streak.
Oh, for me, it was even more than that. I think it was like an eight or 9 game losing streak because I played 4 matches earlier in the day. Won the first one, and I was on cloud nine. I was like mid diamond two at that point, and then subsequently lost three back to back. Got off. Met up with you later that night. We played what? Was it six?
I think we played 5. I think we lost 5.
Okay, so we lost five, and then just back to back, we won nothing, right?
Yeah, I don't think we won a damn thing.
And so it's just like I deranked all the way. Like I earlier in the day, the first round, I lost diamond two. By the end of that night with you, lost diamond one or diamond three. So I was back to plat one. I've since re-ranked up to diamond three. Very low in there. I haven't really played that many matches since this past weekend, but I'm still hopeful, still kind of ready to push. I just had a bad run of luck. I think we both did on a lot of those matches, and
It
there
was
were
a
usually matches where something was starting off super well. Like I know at least like 5 matches that I played, like we just dominated. My team would just crush the first round, and then somehow somebody would make a change on the other team, or it was like they handed the controller off to somebody else and they were a whole
mhm.
different team. All of a sudden, it's wild how that can work sometimes. But yeah, it was enough to kind of crush the spirit a little bit. But I know it wasn't me necessarily, like or it wasn't. Sorry, I know it was kind of like us or the team in general. I wasn't like hating on the game or anything like that. I think that's an important distinction to make.
Yeah, for sure. And we were also just running into a lot of stuff that was like weird compositionally. Like
Hmm.
we had that game on Idrisil's Path where like we rolled out a spawn and I was solo healing and we had 2 tanks, 3 DPS. And then at some point, I think in that game, we had like 4 healers and like it just
Hmm.
was making no sense. But then the other thing that we kept running into is triple tank.
Yeah,
I think like
yeah.
2 or 3 of those games, the teams went triple tank and we just had no idea, like, our team just fell apart without knowing how to respond.
Right, like, just didn't know what to do or kinda, like, how to get around it, yeah, and I think it depends on the tank as to, like, what the play is, I think sometimes those situations kinda got us because, like, you and I tend to be in roles that, like, it's hard to flex away from, like, do you lose a tank? Do you lose a support player? I think one game we played, um there was like some debate. Like we had, I think I was a tank, you were a support, and we had 4 people vying for DPS spots, and we're like, we can't switch. There's nothing for us to switch to. Like there, everybody else is just kind of hovering over different DPS characters that they want to play, different duelists, and we're just like, this is a there's literally nothing we can do. You
Yeah.
guys have to figure this out. I will say I have a vendetta whenever I see a heal pool in a two healer comp. at like the very start of the match, I'm automatically pessimistic. I'm like, I just don't see it happening. Don't see it working out. Um,
Have you run into that many bad Deadpool? What's the
yeah,
origins of this,
yes,
Seth? Let's
yes, I
unpack
have.
this.
I don't. I just like I think that he's just a solid third, kind of an Ultron. Although Ultron can, if you play him really, really well, he can do miracles. But I think that he's kind of like in that Mantis Ultron spot for sure, where when he's heel pool, sub pool or whatever, he's he just doesn't have the crazy output unless you're just really, really great with him. So I think that you kind of lose some of that output in the moment to moment, that you don't like, that you maybe get a little bit more with a Cloak or a Luna or an Invis, somebody kind of more traditional like that. A Gambit now at this case in a
Mhm.
lot of ways. So I just don't know. I've played, I feel like, with so many Deadpools at this point. I think that like the consensus seems to be the clear winner of you know the three tiered Deadpool. What's the Christian term? The
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 Trinity.
Trinity, okay, something like that. Of the Deadpool Trinity is tank pool. DPS pool's kind of like in the middle there, and then sub pool is kind of like dead last. I just feel like I haven't seen enough great gameplay from those support Deadpools to make it really worth the pick. And usually the teams that I'm on have suffered like immediately, and it's almost always that when you look at the numbers.
Yeah. Very aim reliant, accuracy reliant, and I think you also have to be kind of playing all together, or you have to have a
Mhm.
Deadpool who's really aggressive and willing to play up with the tanks.
Same thing as like Ultron too, right? Like you've gotta make sure you're managing where those drones are, and you've got to hope everybody's kind of together to maximize those drones. It helps having two of them now a little bit more, but Deadpool, when he's got that big healing field, he's got to be kind of right around everybody
Mhm.
else, and but he's vulnerable doing that too, unless he's right behind those tanks like stink on a monkey.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the news. Very few items this week. As I said, I think Guang Guang's waiting for next week to turn on the fire hose of information, but we do have some new skins coming to the game. First up are the Phoenix Seat of Spring skin and the Moon Knight Eclipse of Night or Eclipse Night skin. What do you think about these, Seth? I know you're already sold on the Phoenix one.
I like the Phoenix. I don't know if I'll buy the Phoenix one. I think there's enough skins coming out. But I mean, it is nice, and I do enjoy playing Phoenix every once in a while. So I say that I've got like 900 units in the bank right now, so this very well could be sold when it drops. It says the 27th. What day is that?
That's Friday.
That's Friday, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I'll probably be buying Phoenix if I'm just being honest with myself.
Yeah, the Phoenix skin's cool. I don't play Phoenix enough to get a whole lot of use out of it, so I'll just wait for it to roll back around at some point.
She's
Um,
kinda in that, like, same boat, I think, as, like, Scarlet Witch and, one or two others where I feel like a lot of her skins that exist already kind of, like, are very samey. This one I feel like is just kinda unique and different, just where she's
mhm.
in the kinda the pantsuit or whatever. Yeah, I like this one a lot.
Yeah,
The hairstyle's different too. It just kinda it's unique.
yeah, I do like this Moon Knight skin. I got the trailer pulled up now, um, and I saw somebody in Reddit ask what the like cassette tape is about on the like icon for this skin, and the top comment at least said uh cassettes have an A side and a B side, so it's like the two sides of Moon
The
Knight.
duality.
Yeah, the duality of man. Um, but no, I'm digging this skin. At first, I thought it was a Gambit skin for some reason. I don't know
It's
why.
the
It kind of
purple eyes, I think.
that might be it. Yeah, and this doesn't get any kind of like updated sound effects or anything. I don't think so. Um, yeah, and then our next item and final item of news is a Saudi millionaire is paying people to throw games. I found this over on the subreddit as well. So apparently, there is this Saudi millionaire that has created a website, and this is from Window Accurate 5745 over on Reddit. And this website basically, you can put a bounty on somebody's head that has griefed one of your games, thrown a game, been toxic in your game, and then people can pay money into that pool. And if you can send proof that you got into that person with the bounties lobby and trolled them back, you get an 80% payout of whatever that bounty is. Um, what the fuck? That's all I gotta say about this. Did you look at this at all, Seth?
No, no, this is kind of breaking news to me. That's nuts. Like who? I guess I'm saying who has time to kind of organize or like orchestrate this kind of thing. I guess millionaires do, but like, holy crap! Like, why? You're making the experience so much worse. Like, you're not just targeting that one person when you're doing this kind of thing, but you're affecting no less than four other people, right? Yourself, if you care about your rank at all or whatever, and then of course like anybody else that's trying to win those games. So yeah, this is horrible. This is like the just, ugh.
Yeah, and like, so this was the other picture of the actual like bounties that are posted, and one of these is J3, which is just a Twitch streamer. Like J3 is a big Marvel Rivals content creator, but then the other one of these, the this one for Rocket is just about the Rocket not shooting his gun, which is like every other Rocket you run into in a ranked lobby. So it's like not only are you ruining people's games for a chance at whatever 80% of $40 is, um, but it might not even be somebody who actually griefed a game because there's no way to verify. It's like vigilante justice, though, right? Like they don't feel like Marvel Rivals is doing enough for the situation, and so they've like put up their own, wanted dead or alive boards. But
Yeah, I mean it's kind of icky to me. There is like this tiny little element that I've there, like almost said like hell yeah, stick it to the people. Like karma comes around, but like this is it's not natural. It's unnatural. I don't really care for it. I want no part of it. This is I would be miserable if I knew that like somebody had thrown a game that I'm playing on purpose, especially, like you and I were grinding trying to get up to like a new rank that we haven't been to before. And to know that like this kind of thing's out there, just like messing up the whole system. I mean, it's terrible.
yeah, who knows how popular this is? But you're right. It's like I can go to the movie theater and watch Batman and think, wow, what a cool vigilante taking justice into his own hands. But then if I see somebody wearing tidy whities over his pants, clotheslining jaywalkers, I realize how big a loser behavior it really is. you know,
Hmm.
and that's what this is. It's like in principle, I get what we're doing, but in practice, it really just makes everyone who participates in it seem like as big a loser as the original person that threw the game.
Yeah.
All right, Seth, let's move on to our topic of the day. I have a fun one for us this week, and I don't think we've done one like this since the game has come out. But you're an educator, Seth. You know about rubrics, you know about evaluating student performance. I've been noticing a trend on Reddit of a lot of negativity. Well, just around the Rivals community in general, a lot of negativity around the game. So I figured right now would be a really good time for us to take a step back and give Marvel Rivals a report card of their performance in different subjects of the game. So that's going to be our topic of the day. We'll go through these. Let's just talk about what grade you would give each aspect, and we'll have a discussion about it. And then if you guys want to get in on this action, there's going to be a link in the description to a survey that you can take that will be your very own report card for Marvel Rivals. And if we get enough responses next week, we'll talk about what the community thinks the grades are for these individual things. So, you ready for this, Seth?
Let's do it.
All right, let's just start with the hot button topic of the last few weeks: game balance. If you were to evaluate Marvel Rivals on just overall how they've approached balancing this game, what grade would you give them?
So now I'll preface like everything that I do tonight with saying that I am a kind of a lenient grader in a lot of ways. I teach a ninth grade for the most part, so like you kind of have to be in some ways. I'm gonna go. My gut's kind of leaning like B for this one. And I think that the game like has it's way better balanced today than it was, in like season 1 or 2. I feel like I think that it's kind of ebbed and flowed, of course, over time. But I kind of feel like I see where they're going and where they want the game to be. But when you run into issues like kind of like the dominance of triple support and things like that, where people can kind of just lean on a certain meta as a crutch and just like it's you either have to do it that way, you have to mirror or not. um, I think I don't know. I'm going B. This now is this an like a typical A to F
Yeah,
scale or whatever?
yeah,
Okay, just making sure there's no S or anything. Yeah, I'm going
no,
B.
all right. Um, yeah, I think I would maybe go a little bit lower just because I feel like I think they had a philosophy for balance changes that they have since kind of abandoned. Where I think they were less concerned about all of the heroes being balanced at any one given time, but rather just we'll allow certain characters to have a time in the sun before we, swap them out, nerf them, buff somebody else, and kind of mix it up. Um, and now they've just kind of taken this approach where it's like mega buffs for everybody, only slight nerfs, but we're not nerfing the right things. I think game balance is still kind of a bear that they're trying to figure out from both like a philosophical standpoint, but also from just like an execution standpoint, because sometimes they'll put out a patch and say, this is our justification for that change, but the change that they make doesn't seem to really impact that, right? Like, oh, we wanted to take kind of Gambit down a notch and remove some of his oppressiveness, but then they like give him a small health nerf and nerf his spades deck when in reality like it's the ult charge that feels bad and the ult itself that feels bad. So I think I'm going to give them like a C on this, somewhere in the middle. I think they're starting to get their hands around it. I think they're willing to listen to the community, and make adjustments on the fly, but I want to see them take kind of bigger swings at the meta, like take a bat to the meta to try to shatter it and like get new characters folded in.
Hmm.
Um,
Um,
Go ahead.
oh, sorry. No, I just think I like that you use the word philosophy. I think that's kind of been coming up with Overwatch and how like these five characters have recently dropped. And so, like I think that like originally, especially as like the Overwatch League was developing stuff like that, the kind of like focus on like balance changes was on like the competitive scene and like not necessarily like into kind of making things like kooky and fun. But now that they've added like Jetpack Cat and some of this other stuff that they've done, especially Jetpack Cat. Like there's kind of like this almost like random esque element to like how can you use this cat? How can you use some of these new characters and like just kind of make the game more interesting and fun while still having a competitive aspect to it too. So I don't know. There is kind of I think a balance and a philosophy to that for sure.
Mhm. The next subject we'll grade them on is the roster and hero additions that they've made. Take that however you want, Seth. How would you approach that?
I'm going A. I like since you know characters one. I guess it was kind of two. It was like a two pack the first time. Since they started with the Fantastic Four and split them up over that first season. They started with a lot of but with some big names like the Fantastic Four. They kind of went like kind of a medium cut, not quite deep, but like with Emma in season two. I think they've done a great job of kind of mixing it up. And again, like we said, I love that there are these kind of deep cut characters like Angela and Elsa Bloodstone in there that definitely aren't as popular. They may be like I'd forgotten Elsa Bloodstone was in the MCU. She was in that Werewolf by Night or whatever it is, the one with the aptly named man thing in there.
Hmm.
I think she was in that movie or whatever it was. Was it a movie or a show?
I have no idea. I've never even heard
It's
of
been a
this.
while. I watched it the one time. It's like a black and white, like Halloween special kind of thing.
Oh,
But apparently she was in there. I watched it once, but I didn't really know who she was at the time that I watched it, so she went right over my head. Um, Yeah, this I'd go A. I just love the frequency that with which they've been releasing these characters. There's always somebody kind of new and exciting to learn. It's like the antithesis of what Overwatch was, like where you kind of have this drought of new characters and content for a while. We're getting like just kind of this tsunami washing over us of like a monsoon of just characters, content, stuff galore.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go B just because I agree with everything that you've said. I would be known as a tough grader if I was in education,
Hmm.
probably.
Hmm.
But I agree with everything that you've said. I think I'm only going to dock some points off for like the deluge of um, DPS characters that we got there for a short stretch. Um, but outside of that, I think the hero editions, as far as who they've chosen, have been great. I love what you're saying, like balancing the popular big hitting characters with the lesser known characters. Like, um, I like that. I've been seeing a lot of people kind of like frustrated that this next season might be White Fox and Black Cat. Um, but and just saying like the game needs somebody that's going to bring hype to the game right now to pull people back in or whatever and to like hit back at what Overwatch is doing. Number one, that's just not how game development works, right? Like these characters have been planned for a while now. But secondly, like I think you can lean too much on characters, who the characters are bringing the hype, that it starts to kind of affect the uniqueness that you're designing those characters with. And I think some of the most interesting designs that we've gotten for characters outside of like Deadpool, obviously, have been characters like Emma and like Angela, like these lesser known characters. It incentivizes the devs to figure out a creative approach to them to get people interested in them. They're doing the heavy lifting and not the IP itself. So I'm not one of those people that's like, we need Cyclops next season or the hype is dead, you know?
It would be cool though. Like I think that would be
Yeah.
awesome. But I would much rather have a Cyclops personally than either White Fox or Black Cat, whoever. But I'll take whoever, and I'm sure that whoever it is, they'll be fun to play. But if not, I've got what 50 other characters as whom I can play. Like I'm there. I'm not going to complain if there's one or two that are duds for me personally. I'm
Mhm.
sure there will be somebody out there that really digs them. Probably a lot of people, at least 6 or 7 of them.
Mm, yes. Uh, um, all right, game mode, Seth. So things that they've added to the game. We've gotten Battle Matrix Protocols, Zombies, Jeff's Winter Wonderland.
I'm going B. I think that like 6 months ago, this was probably a solid C, C minus kind of situation for me. But after I think Marvel Zombies was kind of like the turning point. Just having that game mode kind of like thrilled a lot of people, us included, right? Um, the Jeff's Winter Wonderland stuff I think was a great turn in the right direction too. 18v18 Annihilation. I never really thought that I was going to be playing that game mode that much. I started kind of using it just to like try out characters as they dropped, and now I just kind of get in there and play for fun, just to kind of dick around. And I feel like it's even though it can feel like you're kind of lord grinding, like kind of be a little guilty about it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fun to play. Like, you just have so many people out there. You're just still thinking about the game strategically if you're like trying to actively win matches. Like, you've got to think about how to do your job, just kind of in a different context. And so I like it. It just way more than I thought I would. So I think this is a B, B plus for me. I think if they keep doing this kind of thing and just kind of adding more and different game modes, I could easily see this rising to an A for me.
You kind of took all the words out of my mouth with your
I'm
response
so
there.
sorry.
And oh, you're good. Because I'm going with a B too. And I'm with you. I think if you would have asked me this back in September, it would have been a much lower grade. But I think it's their willingness to continue to add game modes like you're talking about, but also their willingness to improve game modes when they're bringing them back, right? If we were still sitting in a world where like the new Jeff's Winter Wonderland event didn't happen and where they hadn't taken Resource Rumble out, then the grade would be lower too. But they've shown this willingness to say, we'll add new mechanics to these game modes that we had here in the beginning. I think the next time we get zombies is going to be the same way. I hope they do that with Battle Matrix Protocol. But then also the willingness to invest in adding a game mode and then realize everyone hates it and be like, hey guys, we'll take it out. We're gonna figure out how to make you like it
Are
when we
bad.
bring it
Yeah.
back. Yeah. So I'm with
Mea
you on
culpa,
B
I
there.
think that's called. Yeah.
Hmm. Maybe. I don't know. I don't speak French. So
Oh, bonjour.
Bonjour. Bonerific
Mm,
me
mm.
mes amis. All right. Ranked, Seth. What grade would you give ranked?
I mean, that's a tough nut to crack, right? Speaking of pre-cum Joe. Um, I I do not truly know. I mean, I still like again, I kind of approach it with the mindset that the, while there are some problems with the game and the meta and how things are and matchmaking and all that, sure. Overall for the experience, I'm gonna go B as well. I could see this being kind of lower. I could also see it. I don't know if I could see it being an A by any means, but I'm gonna go
Mhm.
kind of like B minus right now. Um, Mainly because of like kind of the dominance of triple support, the kind of stuff we've been talking about. Um, the I don't know, just like I still hate that like you get punished, even though it's not as severely like having a lever. I had somebody who like just it was like an 0-7 Wolverine in a competitive match the other day, and we lost because very shortly into the match, after going 0-7, the Wolverine just quit. But it was right past that deadline, so everybody suffered. We all lost points, and like for what? So just stuff like that, I think, kind of adds up. It's not a negative experience necessarily because I do like enjoy the sweatiness and the competition of competitive. I think that's why the game mode is there, to kind of give you that tension. So I appreciate it in some ways, but of course it can be frustrating when there's so many elements outside of your control.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give ranked a C. Um,
Hmm.
and I think it's mainly just because it's missing some things that other games have that would make the ranked experience better.
Yeah, yeah, I
L-
like that.
Like you keep bringing up the like stay as a team option, and how much you'd love that. Like that's such a simple feature that I think would improve the ranked experience. I was watching Queso the other night, and he's been getting back into Rocket League, and he just had this random dude named Monkey added to his team for one game, and they popped off together, and they stuck together for that whole night. They played again 2 nights later and like won a tournament in Rocket League.
That's how
um
you build communities,
yeah.
right? Like it's like why not? I'm still optimistic, like it's gotta come. But like I mentioned, I think my kind of biggest gripe is that there's like I feel like there's so little control. It just really is a crapshoot when you go into a match and you just never know who you're gonna be with unless you're already grouped up with them. And so like why not, if you can make the change, why not give that little element of control? Like we've said before, I feel like 7 times out of 10 when you do that, when you use that feature in Overwatch or Rocket League or whatever, you pop off together for one game, but then like some other variable changes, like another player doesn't, return for that next match or whatever, and the whole thing is still it's like wash the next game, nothing works
Mhm.
right. But what if it does? Like I feel like it just
Yeah.
again like kind of gives you that much more control and that much more um I don't know. I feel like the whole thing's kind of like an exercise in stoic meditation, like just kind of like trying to learn how to let go of things that you can't control, but being appreciative for the things that you can and like making the most of that stuff. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ryan Holiday
I don't know who that is.
as a stoic guy, so daily stoic, whatever.
Oh, okay, gotcha. um, NetEase is communication with the fans, with the community.
I think 10 out of 10. I think this is an A plus for me. From like almost day one, I think that they've gone out of their way, gone above and beyond more than like probably anybody else that I can think of. The fact that I know Guang Guang's name, that like we know like the names of different like staff members is kind of unprecedented for me. And I've been someone who plays video games and is like follow like I read articles on Kotaku and Polygon like every day. Still couldn't tell you like some people's names I've got Guang Guang down. I know my Guang Guang. I know his face. I know his laugh. I know
His
it all.
scent, which side of the
Mm.
bed he sleeps on.
Guang Guang. He's a lefty for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I think it's an A, and I think the community doesn't give them enough credit for the amount of communication that they do. I mean, we know when to expect seasonal update information. We tune in that Tuesday before a new season. We know we're going to get information. We've seen them step in at times when the community has been up in arms about EOMM and stuff like that. We saw their response to the stuff with the balance changes and kind of a goodwill measure to say we'll do this small patch and we'll reassess things at the season 7 patch. I think all of that collectively is like you said, it's above and beyond what a lot of other companies do. And I think I don't think it should be the exception either. I mean, I think this is how companies should do it, but they do it really well, and I appreciate that.
Hmm.
So, Seth, this game was kind of built on team up abilities. That was one of the main differentiators. It's not like Overwatch because it's third person. We have these team up abilities. Um, where would you grade team up abilities right now?
Just again, I'm rolling with the gut right now. I'm going. It is specifically right now, or just kind of like across the board, like
Across the board,
from
but trending also, like how
okay.
they've continued to handle it.
I'd go A. And I think that again, that this has kind of changed for me over time. Like way back when we talked after they first kind of did the first like team up mix up where we dropped, like we lost the Scarlet Witch and Mag team up with the sword or whatever, the big sword that you could swing. I
Hmm.
loved that thing. And so it can be kind of frustrating when you lose that stuff, but I also kind of appreciate like how it changes the game from, like season to season when you get the or half season, whatever. When you get these kinds of changes, because like it really does affect like what works and what doesn't, at least in some way. And you get something kind of extra that you have to think about as you go through the game. So, it's easy to forget. This is, I feel like, the thing that set this game apart from Overwatch. Even though they are vastly different games, I think this was the thing that was kind of the most unique about it when it first launched, when everybody was saying, oh, this is just third person Overwatch. Sure, in some ways, like the game style is the same. But that kind of has this added aspect, like the kind of teamwork that and pairing that goes into it, that kind of like plays off of the superhero team ups that you get in comic books or whatever. So this, I think it's an A. I could definitely see arguments for lower though.
I'm gonna give it a D.
Good googly moogly. All right.
But I don't think this is any fault of NetEase's per se. Like, I think the idea of team ups is a great kind of novel idea. Again, it was supposed to be this differentiator, but I think it's just challenging because you don't want the team ups to be so impactful that you're kind of griefing if you don't have them. But they need to be impactful enough that you want to use them, and I think
Hmm.
some characters have that. I think some characters have had it in the past and they've been taken away. I think there's other characters that have never really had a meaningful team up for themselves, and I think the anchor in it, like the fact that there's so many team ups that it's just like one person's an anchor and another person gets an ability. I wish it was like both people got an ability, um so I think it's just sort of a nature of it's hard to put reliance on strangers. There's already so much like reliance on who you're grouped up with just by nature of it being a hero shooter. Add on top of that, now I need to get in a lobby with somebody who plays the character that I need for my team up. Like, I think team up abilities is just something that I often forget about in a lot of ways, unless it's one of those more meaningful ones like the Gambit Mag, or the old like Gamma Charge with different characters and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Also, shout out to I think it was Nick Tacto in our Discord that said the Thing Hulk team up sucks because you're just never going to see it. It's so true. I play a
Yeah.
lot of Thing. I never get a Hulk on my team to get the team up.
I did use it one time, but it wasn't like earth shattering. I barely noticed the difference. I feel like maybe it was just the team I was on. something about that dynamic, but I didn't really like see a substantial change using that team up.
Yeah. All right, final two categories here, and we'll make these ones quick, Seth. But monetization and custom and cosmetics. So the skins and how they charge for them.
If you'd asked me before they've done this twice now, but before like the Gambit Rogue wedding thing and the
The
Psylocke
gotcha.
thing,
Yeah.
the gotcha stuff, I would give it, I think, an A before, but now I think I'd give it. I'm gonna go B minus to a high C. I still do appreciate like there's not really anything that like is game changing or like pay to win or anything like that. You're not dealing with loot boxes necessarily until you kind of are like these kind of gotcha mechanics that with the balloons that you have to pop, and it could be that you get like the big thing, the skin pairing. Um, right off the bat, you could just pay like 100 units and get something that would normally cost you like 20 to 30 bucks. Um, that's not really my thing. I like immediately regretted. I didn't do the Psylocke one at all because I kind of like morally stood opposed to it. And then I just happened to have like a bunch of units burning a hole in my pocket when the Gambit and Rogue skins came out, and was just like, sure, I'll go for it. And I didn't do my reading or anything like that, so I didn't realize how much money you would have to spend if you didn't get what you wanted in the first couple of tries. It was like 3,000 units.
Yeah, it's like the price
Um,
of the skin.
right. And so, like, in no way was that beneficial. But, like, by the time I realized what I was doing, I had already gotten, like, in. And so I had this whole, like, sunk cost fallacy thing going on. And I mean, I wanted the skin. So at that point, I was like, well, I might as well finish it. But I don't foresee myself doing that again. I want to see none of this in this game. So I'm going to go benefit of the doubt, kind of go and B minus, but I'm very like I could definitely be in C territory with this.
Yeah, we're back in line on this one. I'm probably in the B territory because I think for the most part, everything that they provide, you get a ton of value out of. And I know
Hmm.
people are, kind of negative about the like 990, special events that happen and that sort of stuff. But in my opinion, you're getting three skins in a lot of those events. $10 for three skins. That's not terrible in my opinion. But yeah, the gotcha stuff is not my thing. In some ways, it's kind of worse than gambling, right? Because it's like you said, you get 500 units in, and it's like, well, might as well just take it the rest of the way. Whereas if you're gambling and you lose a couple, it's really easy not really easy, but for a lot of people, it's easy to just say, all right, going to cut my losses and walk away. But you don't need to invest anymore. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of the gacha, and that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth and lowered this grade too.
Yeah.
Finally, map design. Seth, where would you put us?
I think the more I kind of think on it, I'm gonna go. I think I don't. I know I haven't really gone lower than a B. I think I'm still gonna go like B minus right now. And the reason I'm kind of shifting down is because like I know I didn't really have a problem with it. But, the more I kind of have played and the more I think about it, I do kinda have a problem with this newest map with, like, what is it? Museum of Contemplation?
Mhm.
Is that the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, that final point, I don't even think that that should be a competitive map anymore, like, now that I've played on it. Like, I've lost a game on there, a competitive game, no less, because, like, of some mechanic to dealing with the duckery and the whatever. I forget exactly how it worked, but, like, fully touching the point, I've lost a match, because of, like, the way in which I was touching the point,
Mhm.
the system didn't register it. And so like that just kind of not even counting the ways in which it's kind of this just huge floating shield that blocks you in ways that no other point will do in any other map. It's just like it's bonkers to me. So I'm kind of trending down on this one, but there are more maps to come. I'm sure that they've heard these complaints too, and will probably kind of like make justification, or not just for they'll rectify it as we move forward somehow, some way.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go C on this one just because there's been a few maps like the Museum of Contemplation stuff. I agree with everything you said there. I also just don't like maps like that and like Araco where it's so geometric and like a lot of sharp corners and hard chokes. And like Kunlun, you kind of get that weird choke on point B where teams tend to get stuck. That final turn, 90-degree turn into the third point's really hard. Like, I don't know. There's stuff that just overly favors one side or the other. And it's one of those things where it's like I get that it's never going to be a total 50-50, but like third point Kunlun feels like it's 90% defense, 10% offense on that section. So, and then the like just barrage of Clintar maps that we got as well. Like there just wasn't a ton of diversity
I
happening.
forgot about that. Yeah, I'm going C. I'm dropping
Yeah.
down to C territory there.
um but but I think there's also some bangers and maps too. Like Midtown, I think is one of my favorite maps. I like a lot of the what's the convergence maps. I think are really good. The other thing
Mhm.
that I think lowers my grade a little bit is I think some of the destructive and like rebuilding environments are kind of buggy. Especially on like the other New York map, like with the cat
Central
Dracula's
Park.
castle, yeah, Central Park, where the Dracula's castle's rebuilding. Like I get caught in there a lot, and it's just like weird. So I'm probably going to give them a C. I think they could definitely improve on some of their map designs.
And I love that destructibility and I love
Yeah.
that stuff, but like it just especially in a competitive game where it can cost you time and energy. Yeah,
Mhm.
C for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know what you guys would give Marvel Rivals on this report card. You can do that in the link in the description or just leave a comment and let us know what grades you agree with or which ones you disagree with. But we're going to get out of here. We'll have a ton to talk about next week with the event happening in LA. And I'm sure we'll be getting some season 7 news here shortly as well. But Seth, until then, what are you going to be getting up to in game?
I'm planning on playing some Arc Raiders with you here in a few minutes, but until then, or probably after then, just gonna kind of keep that grind alive a little bit. I think I'm gonna try to make it less of a grind, and kind of stick with. I got away. I think my problem was because I got greedy. I was getting too close to the sun at Diamond Two, and wanted it too badly. So, and I kind of dropped my rule where I usually like if I hit 2 losses, I'm done for that day, and we're gonna wait until the next day. I totally disregarded that. We lost what was it, 6 or 7, whatever it was, 8 games in one day. And I won one out of all of those. So that was my bad. That was the problem. I am the problem. It's me. So that's kind of be my plan is just kind of like take a step back and just if it happens, it happens. Just play the best games that you can.
Yeah. I finished my battle pass. So right now I'm really just playing for, the rank. And
Same.
so yeah, I'll be grinding for GM. We'll see how high we can get. I mean, we're already locked into our skin rewards. We've already got our borders for this season as well. So now we're just kind of playing for the love of the game and trying to beat our peak, which I think for both of us is Diamond 2. So, or did you get Diamond 1 that one time?
I got Diamond One back in season 2, I think it was maybe, or it
Yeah,
might have been the end of season 1. I think it was season 2. As close as I got, and it just didn't work out.
until this season when we surpass it. All
What do
right,
we have?
guys.
3 weeks left to go, something like that.
2 weeks, I think. So
2. Oh God, yeah, we'll see.
all right, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. We appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment wherever you're listening to us. Make sure you follow us on social media at Rival Banter on Instagram and Discord, or Instagram and TikTok, and then join our Discord to share your unhinged names and talk about Marvel Rivals. All right, guys, until next time, good luck in your games. Good luck on the grind. We love you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.